Earlier this week, I was seeking the Lord relative to what He wanted to say to you guys, and He was showing me something concerning um, what He wanted to be planted in you um, for a later date, and because many of you will be over ministries and businesses and things of that nature. He's telling me to plant this, and so we're going to go over 1 Peter chapter 5 today. 1 Peter chapter 5, and it's just a few things that he wants to make sure is imparted into you guys, so that when he uses you, you'll already have this in your spirit. Okay, 1 Peter chapter 5. Everybody got it? Father, we just bless your name for your word. Have your way in this place in Yeshua's name. Okay, 1 Peter 5, starting at the first verse, it says, "The elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being examples or examples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, you shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away." I'm going to stop right there for a minute. Okay. As it relates to, who is he talking to? As it relates to these scriptures.
Are you asking?
Mm-hmm.
He's talking to those that's overseer over ministries.
Okay, so the elders here in this aspect is not somebody's age.
Age is not
Yes.
a Christian.
Yes, so it's the elders here that he's talking about is people who will be leaders over ministries, or overseers over ministries. Okay, and so he makes an effort of making sure that they know, okay, I'm saying this to you as an elder also. And so there are a lot of times, even when I say certain things to you guys, I say it from the aspect of, I'm telling you this because you're going to have to go through this, okay? So anytime you minister to someone as it relates to leadership, you always want to come to them from the aspect of, I'm telling you this because I go through this. I'm telling you this because I had to go through this. And one of the things that Peter is pointing out concerning this is how to lead without leading the wrong way. And so you want to make sure that as you are leading, you do come from the position of humility and transparency. You have some leaders who talk to people in the congregation or leadership from the aspect of, I'm the big dog and you guys are the little peons, so to speak. But you never want to lead from that position. You lead from that position, looking for a downfall. That's one of the reasons why the Lord tells us in aspect of not to lord over each other, you know, because it's a lot of things that when you get into leadership, it's a lot of things that you could do because of being a leader, but you don't do because you are a leader. Okay? That humility causes you to do things, to not do things that you could do because of being a leader. You know, saying, so say, I've like seen preachers get an armor bearer, make them carry all their stuff, and make them come to their house and wash their clothes and clean up their house and stuff like that. Yeah, you could do that, because if somebody is respecting and honoring you as a leader, they would just be obedient in doing what you say. But you don't do that because of being a leader of the Lord. You know, it's one of the things where you want to honor the Lord in how you treat people and not take things for granted because you are a leader. Okay? And you know, and with that, the Lord definitely be pleased with you in seeing where you could have, you know, you could have done this, or you could have got somebody to do that, but you didn't. And it speaks to character, and it speaks to integrity and honor. You know, it's some leaders who love to play people against each other and have people jealous and have people fighting over being next to them and fighting over giving them stuff and things of that nature. I'm not one of them preachers. I had to rebuke some folks some years back because they was competing, and I'm like, no, I show everybody the same love. I love everybody the same. Y'all are different, but I still love you all the same. And so if I go out to dinner with one, guess what? I go out to dinner with the next one. You know, I'm not going to play y'all against each other and be like, whew, that sure was a good dinner I went out with Trinidad the other day. I wonder who gonna take me out next. And no, we're not playing them games in here. And I want y'all to make sure that the enemy never gets you to the point of playing those games with people. Because a lot of people, as it relates to leadership, a lot of people have wounds or have been really bound in areas concerning family. And because of that, you have to be careful as a leader that the enemy does not have you to have people to transfer what's going on between them and their family over onto you. Because sometimes, like as if you're a woman preacher, sometimes you'll draw people who have problems with their mama. And if you don't watch it, they'll put everything that all that's going on with them concerning their mama, they'll attach it to you. So you have to be careful about that. As a man, if you're over a ministry, it's a difference between, and even with being a woman, there's a difference between being a spiritual parent over someone and the relationship that you have with that, and the difference between somebody transferring all their issues, or their mama and their daddy issues, over onto you. So you have to be careful of not crossing boundaries. There are certain things that as a spiritual parent, yeah, you're gonna be there. You know, as a spiritual parent, you're gonna know inside things. As a spiritual parent, you're gonna be really close and things of that nature. But you want to make sure that the enemy don't ever trick you into overstepping your bounds. Okay? It's like, even if a person has an issue with their parents or whatever, you still stay in the realm of ministerial, and not give the ability for the enemy to make it seem like you're coming against natural family. Okay, y'all understand what I'm saying concerning that? Okay, so always get wisdom from the Lord relative to, and I'm talking to leadership, because you'll be able to tell when someone is crossing the boundaries into kind of creepy, and they want you to be more than what the Lord called you to be to them. Apostle Deborah and DeAndre know I had to deal with a particular lady some years ago, and she had some serious mother issues, or she was old enough to be my mom, and she pushed the envelope way over bounds, and she started doing things, because I showed her love and understanding and things of that nature, and she wasn't getting it from her mother. She took that and began to be very possessive over me, and she started doing things in the ministry to get people away from me. She didn't want anybody else around me. She started competing with certain folks in the ministry, buying me stuff and trying to, and then she got to the point where she tried to take me out to dinner every day. I'm talking about every day, because she was trying to take up all my time. So when nobody else had no time to be around me, and I had to tell her, hey, I'm not that kind of preacher. I'm just, I don't play people against each other. You ain't gotta take me out to eat every day. I appreciate getting taken out. It's good if somebody jump up and say, Apostle, let me take you out to lunch. I'm like, yes. But listen, it don't have to be every day. I ain't got to see you every day. Then she got to the point where she was coming to my house bringing me flowers. And, and so I picked up on that there was other things going on. There was also a spirit of lesbianism that was operating underneath the surface. And then so it was a mixture between the lesbianism and the mother issues, and she was pushing all of that over on me because I was showing her love that she hadn't shown. I was showing her the love of Christ. There wasn't nothing else to it. Yeah, and so, but there are some people who can't, they don't know how to take love because they weren't given that. Even as it relates to communication. It's some people who grew up where their family just didn't communicate at all. And so when you show that communication, you have to make sure that it doesn't go somewhere in left field, because they're not used to that. And so leadership-wise, let's look back at this, where he said, okay, so he said where he had been a witness of the sufferings of Christ and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. So he says, feed the flock of God which is among you. We could stop right there. Which is where? Among you. Among you. Feed the flock that's among you. So as leaders, are we supposed to be going around getting in everybody else's business? No. So your first priority is who the Father has assigned to you. That's always first priority. And with me, even though I train other people, I got spiritual sons and daughters everywhere, and I train other people, my first priority is always y'all. And so those that are here and my spiritual sons and daughters that stay in place and actually communicate like they're supposed to. Those are my first priority. The best way to get to where you're no longer my first priority is that you stop communicating. Because after you stop communicating, and then after I done reached out to you a couple of times and you not communicating for whatever reason, you then start going to the bottom of the list, and I just start praying for you after that. Because you have to remember, as it relates to people are fickle. Now, someone who is authentically called to you, they won't be fickle like that. Those people don't come in and out. But as it relates to ministry, People are fickle, and we found that out with Yeshua, because one minute they was, oh, Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, and the next thing you know, it was crucified. And so with ministry, if you don't get it in your spirit that people are fickle from the beginning, if you don't get that in your spirit from the beginning, you're going to be hurt a lot. Because some people who you think will never leave, some of them be the first ones to go. Sometimes, and I have found this out over the years. So I'm gonna share this little nugget with you, and I hope you don't find it to be true on your journey. Most of the time, the one person who always saying, I'll never leave you, and I love you, and I'll never hurt you, that's usually the one that's going to do it. When they when it's overwhelmingly, I would never do that to you. I'm gonna always be with you. I'm gonna always help you, and I'm gonna help you build the ministry and this, that, and the other. Usually that's the one that's the enemy gonna use to turn on you. Let me give you scripture. Peter said, I'm gonna be there with you. I'll go to jail for you. What happened? Soon as the warfare came, what happened? Denied Christ 3 times and was gone. So usually the most vocal one about loving you and never doing you wrong is the one that's the enemy gonna use. And I've seen that a whole bunch of times. I watch to see who's saying they ain't gonna do nothing. Because watch this, if your motive is never to hurt me, you ain't trying to convince me. You just gonna do what you gonna show. You ain't going out your way to convince. So those who the enemy usually try to go out their way to convince you that they with you. They do go over and beyond to try to convince you and telling you and this, that, and the other, and it seems almost what's the word? Yes.
Overkill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You really trying hard to convince me. Wait a minute, something wrong there. Because watch this right here. I don't go around calling y'all every day saying, I love you. I love you. I want you to know that. I want you, you know I love you, don't you? I love you, I love you, I love you. And you be like, you know, okay, yeah, I can see you now. I understand, I understand. You know, think about this.
Like, Pastor Deborah, you okay? You talking to Pastor? Because I know she close to me, so I know there's something going on.
Yeah, she gonna be the first one.
Pastor Deborah, have you talked to her?
Yeah.
Has she called you?
Now I'm saying it because, like, okay, we can take the aspect of dating somebody. If you're dating somebody or married to somebody, you would rather that they show that they love you. If they start out the blue overwhelmingly calling you and messaging you every minute talking about they love you, then now you're suspicious and you like, what have you done?
Exactly.
What have you done? Say, as you dating somebody and they don't never buy you no gifts, and now all of a sudden you getting gifts left and right. Okay, they done something.
Something happened.
Because it shouldn't be something left field for them to show that behavior. It should be obvious. So with you guys, I try to do things in the aspect of that you'll never ever have to wonder whether I love you or not. you know, because I do things to show you that. So that if I was to jump up and start calling you all day long, talking about I love you, then you like, what in the world wrong with Apostle? Y'all be calling each other behind the scenes. What in the world? Now, at least once a week or once every 2 weeks, I do a group message and let y'all know I love you and appreciate you, because I always want y'all to know that. But you know that it's not obsessive, okay? And so it's, watch this, and I'm saying this from the aspect of a leader. It's not even obsessive to the point that all through the week, I'm calling y'all, where you at? What you doing? Where you at? What you doing? You living holy, ain't you? We don't have to do that.
Amen.
Okay? Because my job is to make sure that you got a good enough relationship with the Lord that you want to live holy on your own. So this is the reason why a preacher doesn't have to be Holy Ghost Junior running around trying to find out what y'all doing every bit of the day. Because if, as a leader, the people have more of a relationship with you than they got with the Father, something wrong. Okay? So even as much as I love y'all, sometimes the Lord can show me something going on with y'all, and I don't even say nothing. And the reason why I don't say nothing is because you got to work that out with him, and I got to back him up by praying for you that you're going to get it worked out. Now, if it become an issue, and it's messing with your salvation and your walk, then he make me say something. But most of the time, it be stuff going on and he show me and he like, okay, they dealing with this, and this. And I be like, oh, okay, what you want me to do about it, Lord? Just pray. And I don't call y'all, don't say nothing. But then when we come here the next week and I ask y'all, what all took place during the week, and then y'all say, well, this happened, this, that, and I'm like, that's what he showed me. Okay. But then guess what? Y'all done got that fixed with the Lord because you got a relationship with him. So as a leader, you can't handle all of people's problems. Okay? The enemy will try to make you be Superman for everybody. And you can't be Superman for everybody. Okay? There'll be sometimes when somebody is talking about, oh, this done happened, this done happened, this done happened. And you have to say, okay, I'm praying. And that's the only thing you can say. Until the Lord lets you get in the midst of it. Because watch this. If every time something hits y'all call me, what does that make me? Yeah. That pushes me in the position of God. If every time something go wrong, I'm the first person you call. Now, I'm not talking about a crisis. Crisis, we all need to know so we can all start praying. But I'm talking about any type of little warfare or something. If I'm the first person that you call, that puts me in his way. And I remember I told you guys before, I'm not going to let you put me on a pedestal as an idol. Because I know what the Father do with idols. Idols fall. Idols are destroyed. He don't want anything in his place. And so as a leader, we always have to be I hate to kind of say that go-between, but it's more or less because, not a go-between in the essence of having to go to a priest to get to the Father now, because we know the veil has been rent in two. But as it relates to the Lord giving you a leader to watch over your soul, you will be that go-between as it relates to the deeper things concerning their soul. Because the Father will show you things about people who you are in charge over. He'll show you things about them that other people don't know. And you also have to have enough integrity and character to keep some things to yourself. You're going to have to. I remember I made a statement a long time ago, but it is the truth. As a leader, you are, in a lot of ways, you're a secret carrier. Because you can have a whole congregation full of folks, and you know stuff about folks that other folks in the congregation don't know. That if you was to tell everything that's really going on with folks, most folks wouldn't even talk to each other, won't even come to church to be around folks. If they knew all your business like that. And so as a leader, you can't tell folks business like that. You know? And I'm the type of person where I know stuff. It takes for me to see that y'all in danger to tell on somebody. So case in point, this last attack, when I started telling all the stuff that I knew concerning that person, because they had become a danger to everybody in here. And so you're gonna have to weigh that in your spirit as far as wisdom, what to say and what not to say, even as it relates to when you see the enemy using a particular person to try to pull people out of the spirit of the Lord, out of salvation, out of the house of the Lord. When you see stuff like that, every now and then you're gonna have to take somebody off to the side, and you're gonna have to tell them, you know, I want you to pray about this, but you know, you really don't need to be hanging out with them like that. It's not in your best interest. Just pray about it. You don't want to demonize the other person at the same time, but you do want to plant the alert and not just let a wolf take a sheep out, you know. And so, where are we at now? Okay. Like I said, feed the flock of God which is among you. That's where we had stopped. Taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint. So you don't be a leader and doing what you do because somebody holding you captive and making you do it. Don't be a leader because somebody making you do it. Constraint is holding somebody back and making them do something. Okay, so not by constraint, but how? Willingly. Okay, you want to be a leader over people willingly. When you really don't want to be the leader and don't want to be over a particular ministry or business or company or whatever it is, people can tell that you don't like what you're doing, that you don't want to be there, and that you don't want to be around them. They can tell that you don't want to. So you've got to keep that spirit. You know, we talk about the aspect of morale. With any kind of business, you want to keep the morale up. And the same thing as concerning ministry. You want to keep the morale up. If I was to come in here every Sunday and be like, ugh, here y'all go again. I guess I'm going to give y'all what the Lord said. I had to hurry up, go home, and get out of here. Ugh. If I came in here like that every Sunday, y'all would not stay here. Amen? You don't want to fit. You don't want to feel like somebody. It's grieving for somebody to watch over your soul. What if y'all call me and I'd be like, ugh, what you want? But you notice I've never done y'all like that. Even if I was sick. You know, and so I want you guys to make sure that you keep that in your spirit as far as the morale of any type of ministry or business or church or company that the Lord give you, that it is always willingly that you are doing what the Father called you to do. Now, if you feel burnt out and you get to the point where you feel like, dude, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Those are times when you really need to get away and pray and let the Lord refill you. A lot of times when you start feeling burnt out, it's because you're drained. Okay? When you get drained, it is, your body also tells you that you're tired. You know, and so you never want to, as it relates to what the Father has called you to do, you don't want to be drained to the point where you don't want to do what the Father called you to do. Okay, so it says, but willingly, not for filthy lucre. So what is that talking about? When it said not for filthy lucre?
Like trying to have some type of gain behind them while you leader.
Mm-mm. Huh?
$30.
What's filthy lucre, y'all? I know it's
It's
a,
money,
yes,
it's money.
yes. So he's saying, listen, as a leader, don't be doing what you're doing just trying to get paid. It's not a secular job. And you know, right now you got people who are not even called by Yahweh, and they're actually they're like, oh, I'm gonna be a pastor. You get paid doing that. And so it's people who are not even called that are pastoring churches, and they doing stuff to get paid. And then and then watch this. If you talk about filthy lucre, let's talk about these $500 lines, and them doing these little scams to get you to sow big money and things of that nature. And then you got some preachers who are even doing stuff as it relates to mind control and making people sign over their whole check to them and things of that nature. That's what Peter is talking about here. Don't start doing stuff. And even watch this. He said filthy lucre. So he's talking about dirty money. Dirty money. You doing stuff. This is not you getting paid as a pastor or as a leader. What you are owed, because the word says that you are worthy of your hire. That whatever you the leaders are supposed to get paid. Okay. This is not that. This is you doing extra stuff. You doing low down stuff, running scams, things of that nature in order to get money. And Peter's like, no, don't be being a leader just to get money out of folks. All of a sudden, watch this. You ain't prophesied none during the whole year, but as soon as it get tax time, you full of prophecies.
IRS profits. IRS profits.
Yes, and so Peter's like, no, don't be doing no stuff like that. You got no word for nobody until it's tax time. And so he said, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. And so if you have a ready mind, then that means what? If you're being a leader out of a ready mind, what that mean?
Be prepared.
Yes. That means you got to be prepared. You being prepared means there's times when you gotta fast and pray, and when nobody else is fasting and praying. You being prepared means there's times you gotta study when nobody else is studying. That means you gotta be in the presence of the Lord when everybody else running back and forth from conference to conference, just doing whatever. One of the things that Apostle Greer was saying one day, he was talking about the seriousness of a preacher without a pen and a piece of paper. So if you're a preacher without a pen and a piece of paper anywhere around you, everywhere you go, that means you're not looking for a word. Because as it relates to us being sons and daughters of the Most High, we should always be waiting to hear a word from the Lord. So I think he has hit this certain phone that he got a little pen hooked to it, and so he just write down notes and stuff like that. But in aspect with myself, I have a pen and a pad with me whenever I go somewhere. Because you never know when he gonna speak. So
I know it's a lot of times I can be listening to somebody's message, but it's something in there, and it'll ring.
Mhm.
It'll ring, and then I'm I'm like, okay. And,
Yeah.
you know, something out of somebody else's message, it's not their message, but it's something in there.
Yes.
That he wants you to study and look up and, you know.
Yeah, and so especially those of you who are prophets, you gotta have something with you to be able to write something down whenever he speaks. Some of these phones have a little notepad hooked to it, and that's all well and good, but you want to always be prepared for whatever he says. The worst thing to happen is for the Lord to start talking to you and you don't have nothing to write nothing down. That's the worst thing to happen. It's been a few times earlier in my ministry that the Lord caught me off guard. Once I learned that, hey, I don't know when he gonna say something, that's how I ended up with tablets and tablets full of messages and notes and scriptures and this, that, and the other to make sure that I always write down what he says, because you're going to need it. Watch this. Even if the Lord give you one word and that's all he say, you're going to need it. And I found out the hard way to start paying attention to those words. Because, and let me tell you this, don't make this mistake. If he give you a word, you better start looking it up. Better get the definition of it. Don't just take it for granted that you think you know what it means. Because a lot of times, what you think a word means is not what it means. It's been some times where I thought he meant one thing, and when I looked it up in the definition, it was about 5 or 6 different definitions to it, and it meant something totally different than what I thought. So a lot of times we can get off track by assuming what the Father means. As a leader, you never want to assume what the Father means.